Come out with us and play, love your London, have a banana. On Love Your London today, in the second episode on Acton, we make some unnerving discoveries about a former local. But first of all, we check out Gunnersbury Park. We are outside Gunnersbury Park Museum. It's this beautiful building. There's a really cool little bar they've set up there. The reason for that is because, unfortunately, the cafe got burnt down back in May. So they desperately need funds. So do go onto their website if you want to donate. But fortunately, we do have this fantastic bar which is going to do fine up until at least September. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about Gunnersbury. Now, obviously, we will be talking a lot about Gunnersbury in the Chiswick and Gunnersbury episodes. So all that south part of the park down there, we're going to be covering then. And there's a big cemetery down there as well. A lot of Polish expats buried there, including one of the very last presidents in exile of Poland. This particular part is still, I consider, part of Acton because it's closest to Acton town station where we've just left. Now Gunnersbury itself is named after Gunilda, and she was the niece of King Canute. But she lived here in this park in a manor until she was banished from England in 1044. A real site of battleground back in the 1600s. Now, John Hampden MP, he was one of those 5 MPs that defied the royalty, King Charles I, or King Charles as he was known then, and that is what sparked off the English Civil War. He managed to get together during 1642 up to almost 1,000 men, 1,000 followers, to march on the royalists. He was one of the Roundheads, of course. And this area of Acton is on what's called the Oxford Road. Basically, it's the front line between the Royalists and the Roundheads. Well, there was a big fight, probably around here somewhere. It probably finished around Turnham Green over there. In 1652, Oliver Cromwell was victorious in the Battle of Worcester, and he came back to Acton to celebrate his victory with Londoners. And so Acton is kind of really important for both the beginning and for the end of the English Civil War. And the Rothschilds lived here for almost 100 years, and they eventually sold it on to the local council. You might actually recognise this particular mansion from the Liam Gallagher video, For a Single Once. That's that one that features Eric Cantona. Oh, it's a real shame that we can't show you inside Gunnersbury Park Museum. There's one thing in particular that I really wanted to show you. Well, first of all, there's the Lucasade sign. The Lucasade sign used to greet people on the way to London. The other thing I wanted to show you was some really old Roman pottery. It's Samian ware, or terra sigillata, from Roman France, or Gaul, as Asterix fans will remember it. And it dates from between 100 and 125 AD. And it's actually signed by the potter Don Accius, or Don Alcus. I will be showing you later on where it was found. It's a fascinating story. So do come here when it reopens. There's loads of stuff about Brentford FC. Their stadium is just the other side of the park, in fact, but again we'll be talking about that probably in the Brentford episode. Like most museums in London, admission is free. As I said, they were relying heavily on the cafe, the burnt out cafe, for income. Ooh, I wasn't expecting that. Looks like they're filming a Bollywood movie there. I'll stay out of their view because I want to be as professional as possible. Don't want Love Your London to have a bad reputation for destroying other people's shoots. This garden is often used for the Mela. This is a big celebration of music and culture from India and Southeast Asia. It's last year it was actually in Southall, and we went to it. Fantastic. But normally it's held here in Gunnersbury Park. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be back. Obviously, it's not on this year. It's not on in Southall either because of these extraordinary situations. So we're now going to have a little look at the Italian gardens. Right, so there we can see the pond with the pedalos. It's absolutely beautiful. This is a grade 2 star listed Doric temple, and it was built for Princess Amelia. Basically it was just for her to have a big wild parties. She was a party queen. She used to have parties here all the time. They were legendary. You could see Kew Gardens because obviously there wasn't all these trees and everything, and it is lovely when the wisteria is growing on these iron sort of arches. We can actually see some of the wisteria here, but normally it's just like a big huge bloom of purple and green. It's absolutely lovely. There's the back of the temple. Okay, and right over there we can see it, and in fact there it is. Just over there we can see the end of Capel Manor College. Now Capel Manor College, that is where none other than Kim Wilde recently studied horticulture and garden design, and she also she does volunteer work to try and help young people get into horticulture, and she does that there in Capel Manor College. So fantastic gardening college. I would say I thoroughly recommend it, but I know absolutely nothing at all about gardening. You may have seen my garden in our very first teaser episode of me sitting in front of the flags. That is unfortunately all we can afford here in London. If I had more money, and of course that is entirely up to you, because if you start subscribing to our YouTube channel and liking us, there's all the details are down below, how to like and how to subscribe, then who knows, I might be able to get another couple of square meters of garden and may be able to get some inspiration from this beautiful garden, and of course the inspiring work from Kim Wilde. And one of the other things that we're going to be doing during this entire 12-year project is Sharon is going to be doing art. She's going to be doing some pen and ink sketches from every sort of area that we go to, and these are going to be auctioned off at the very end of the last episode of each series. So there's going to be probably about 8 episodes for Acton. So at the very end of the Acton episode, number 8, there's going to be an eBay link, and for 2 weeks, starting at probably about £5, there is going to be a unique drawing, or a number of unique drawings about each area, Acton in this case. And you'll be able to, these are originals, these are not going to be reproduced, these are, yes, Sharon, as you will see on our website, www.loveyourlondon.com, she has 2 master's degrees, one in music and one in art, these are going to be really special and collectible. Obviously, when our channel really kicks off, these are going to be really collectible, I imagine, but you never know. All I'm saying is, well, just buy them, because we really need it, just to keep the equipment and the transport costs. London can be quite expensive. There we go.
Short and sweet.
Fantastic. Okay, well, let's now move on to our next area. We've got someone quite famous who used to live around here. We're going to visit their house now.
Rolling.
Okay, so sorry about the terribly loud traffic noise, but basically, as you can see, we are right opposite the old Actonian football sports ground, where they have badminton, they have table tennis, and they have football. A very, very interesting old amateur football team. And opposite that we have 283 Popes Lane. The Gunnersbury Park is just over there behind here. Now, according to the history books, John Entwistle from The Who, he's the bass player, Thunderfingers he used to be known as, or the Ox. He moved here because, as you can see, that really reinforced window up there, which he had installed in order to not annoy the neighbours. In fact, he wrote loads of the songs. One of the famous songs was "My Wife," which he wrote just after a massive big argument. My wife, this is after the argument. He went to the pub for a few days, and the wife got a bit suspicious. And it goes, my life's in jeopardy, murdered in cold blood is what I'm going to be. I ain't been home since Friday night, and now my wife is coming after me. Give me police protection. Gonna buy me a gun so I can look after number one. Give me a bodyguard, a black belt judo expert with a machine gun. Now they did make up, obviously. They were here for 11 years altogether, and then they ended up moving to Stow-on-Wold, or Stow-on-the-Wold, a big massive mansion of 17 bedrooms. In here, John Entwistle had an amazing collection of musical instruments and armour and a tarantula. He collected everything, and he brought all that stuff to Stow-on-the-Wold. He had a tarantula. I don't know if the tarantula's name was Boris. The reason why I say that is because he was one of the, well, he wrote Boris the Spider, one of the Who's most asked for songs, even though that used to really annoy Pete Townsend. But as I said, he moved in here with Alison in 1967. It was his childhood sweetheart. We're going to visit his school actually later on. He of course died in Las Vegas in 2002 after a massive bender. Very sad. And what's even sadder is there's no plaque or memorial here. He really deserves one. Right, okay.
Do you want me to hold the camera?
Sorry?
No, this is...
No. John Entwistle lived here.
Entwistle from The Who used to live in this house?
Yeah.
From the program, The Who?
The Who, as
Not
in
Doctor Who, no. Sorry, I'm doing a documentary about the
We didn't
area.
buy the place, no.
No, we didn't buy the place.
No.
But John...
Oh, I thought maybe you're our new neighbours.
Oh,
no, we're not the new neighbours.
How long have you lived here?
I've lived here about 16 years now.
Oh, right.
This
Okay.
person just passed away.
Shame.
No, literally, they just passed away recently. And he would always stand there and look out the window, and I thought he was a bit weird and a bit creepy.
Oh.
Okay.
You would never see him out here.
It doesn't look like he would.
That wasn't John
Often he would just stand there and look out that window.
Apparently
and he
that
was
was-
an actor, was he?
The Who was a rock band.
Yeah, rock band in the
The
60s.
Who,
They're all
very
from
famous.
here. Pete Townsend,
Yeah.
John Entwistle.
Yeah.
This used to belong to John Entwistle. He was known as the Ox.
That used to be the
He was the bass
recording
player.
studio up there.
So that's why you got that.
That's probably why you always sat in there.
Yeah,
Maybe.
that's why. No, it wasn't. John.
But every time I saw him, you could tell he was a lonely,
There was something
Oh no,
different about him.
depressed maybe.
So John Entwistle died in.
Stardom,
No, but
and not feel suicidal for the rest of your life.
Obviously, the lovely neighbours who thought that we had just bought number 283 Pope's Lane had misunderstood me. I did try and tell them that John had in fact died in 2002 and hadn't actually lived here since 1976. It was sad to hear that the new owner had only just passed away and, by the sound of things, just like John, had also been a bit of an introvert, staring out from behind the thick soundproof glass window that John had so considerately put in place to shield his neighbours from the 200 watts he loved to play his bass through, and which probably contributed to his hearing problems later in life. Now, as those lovely young ladies, the neighbours, said, there was someone else living here who was a bit of a loner. I wonder if he actually changed the decor inside, because the decor is very interesting. It doesn't look like he's changed much. He's left this window, but downstairs there was a two-way mirror down there. There was a two-way mirror in the cloakroom that John Entwistle put in, and all the ceilings were black. He loved having that black ceiling. So I don't know if that got painted by the new neighbour. I'd love to know. It's such a shame he died, because I was going to knock on the door. No, I mean, there's mail there. There's no one in. I'm just actually looking through the window, and it has a black ceiling, which means that the gentleman who's been living here, who's a bit of a loner, that her neighbours were talking about, looks like they kept the black ceiling. So maybe the two-way mirror was there as well. What a shame he's passed away. He would have been fascinating to talk to, because he probably would have bought the house from John. But there was something on my mind, something confusing me. Who was the old man who had been living until recently at number 283 Pope's Lane? It's one thing to keep the soundproof window on the first floor for almost 45 years, but the black ceiling? What if... No, surely not. John was famously taken from us in 2002 after a massive bender with a groupie in Las Vegas. But he was also very introverted, very keen to have a quiet life. So I did some investigating. I checked the HM Land Registry website and found no record of the house ever having changed hands in the past few decades. And The Who only cancelled 2 gigs of their American tour. And on the 1st of July 2002, just 5 days after John's demise, they recommenced the tour with Pino Palladino on bass, who stayed on with them as their bassist. The Who at Glastonbury 2015 were for me one of the highlights of the festival. Pretty good, but Lionel Richie was better. It just wasn't really the same without Thunderfingers gracing the Pyramid stage. Imagine, it would probably not have just been a highlight, but one of the best gigs ever. I realised that I needed some space to think, to find some inner peace and tranquillity. I had heard of a Shin Buddhist temple a few minutes' walk away with a magical garden. That'll do.
That programme, The Who.
The Who, as
Not
in
Doctor Who.
the rock-
The sorry. I'm
There was
doing
something
mental.
magical about being in such a Whovian location.
I thought the adjective Whovian only referred to Doctor Who.
Well, yeah, I guess in theory, yes, but why should it? I mean, look at Roger Daltrey. See what I mean? I was beginning to think that maybe the neighbours had hit on something, and I guess we'll never know. Of course, the mysterious old man could have been a Who Uber fan, desperate to keep John Entwistle's spirit alive by keeping the ceilings painted black. In which case, you'd have thought he could have campaigned for blue plaque or something. I mean, even Sid James, who just lived up the road on Gunnersbury Avenue, has got a blue plaque. So, on the way to the temple, we thought we'd check it out.
Okay, so here we are, standing in the shade of this loquat tree, the spinner. Now, Sid James, famous for the Carry On movies, of course, lived 1913 to 1976. There was a blue plaque actually a bit further down a few years ago, but it got stolen, so they moved it. Now, this house, I'm really glad it's still here because it was under real serious threat of being knocked down, because you see this bridge over here there. Well, as I said, this is the North Circular, believe it or not, and there is almost always a traffic jam. So they were going to make a new bridge. I don't know if they still are going to make a new bridge, and they were going to knock down these houses and knock down all the houses over there. Maybe the blue plaque even helped. That's thanks to the local Acton community here. Now, Sid James, obviously great mates with Hancock. Hancock's a huge cricket fan, and that Popesfield cricket place is just over there. So I wouldn't be surprised whether Sid James lived here between 1956 and 1963. I'm pretty sure that Hancock would pop in every now and then, or maybe he went down for a game of cricket, or to watch a game of cricket at Popesfield, and to watch the traffic go past on the North Circular.
Unmarked one.
It's all happening today.
Those cricket players, boy, they sure get out of control.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Never turn your back on a cricketer.
Oh, there's more coming.
Yeah.
They've changed their mind. They're coming back.
Oh, your ride's here, Tris.
Over here we have the North Korean flag. Now, what is the North Korean flag doing in a suburban house in the middle of Acton, of all places? It is none other than the North Korean embassy. And it's really strange because most embassies, of course, are in Belgravia, they're in Chelsea, they're in all sort of the posh areas, but that is actually the North Korean embassy. It does bring us neatly onto politics. Now, this area, the MP is Rupa Huq. Now, Rupa Huq, H-U-Q, you probably recognise the name Huq because she is the sister of Blue Peter's longest serving female presenter ever, Connie Huq, who is of course a local, is the wife of Charlie Brooker, he of Black Mirror fame, and the whole Huck family sort of come from this area. I think she was born in Hammersmith Hospital, I'm not sure now. But yes, so that brings us neatly onto politics. Connie Huck, Rupert Huck's the MP, and here we have nothing, of course, to do with the Hucks. I don't wish to suggest that it is, but it just happens that it's a nice sort of segue, political segue. We're quite an intellectual channel here, as you can see. Okay, so we're here now at the crossroads of Tudor Way, Boddington Gardens and Carberry Street, I believe it's called. And over there we have hockey pitches, we have the other pitches for old Actonians, youth and training grounds. And this mock Tudor style house, again, you wouldn't know it if you walked past it, but you see those 3 wheels on the door? That sort of gives away what in fact this place is. It is a Buddhist temple, or to be actually, it's a Shin Buddhist temple. Now, to find out more about them, you go to their website, threewheels.org.uk. Private visits can be arranged. Unfortunately, because of the current situation, their garden is very overgrown, and they have a big Zen Buddhist garden at the back, which they're very proud of.
Yep, I'm hiding it well, but deep down I was very disappointed. I'd really wanted to chill out in that Zen garden and work out what had happened to John Entwistle, but yet again I'd been thwarted by the pandemic. It was closed.
Well, this is just one of the places where you can come if you're not into sport and you're not into looking at Sid James's house, then you can come and relax in this amazing Zen Buddhist temple.
Yeah, I did get to speak to the local monk off camera. The garden at the back had, because of the current situation, become really overgrown, and apparently there is nothing more unsightly to a Shin Buddhist than an untidy garden. Now, this area is very, very cosmopolitan. A huge Japanese community. There's even a Japanese school here. But there's Armenians, there's Ukrainians, there's Russians, there's Poles, there's Greeks, a lot of Greeks. There's really everything. I mean, there's Lebanese as well, there's Bulgarians, there's even a Bulgarian supermarket here. In the next episode, we will be checking out the rich history of Mill Hill Park and hopefully get a chance to hit our first pub for a nice pint of cider. Oh, and if you've already bought number 283 Pope's Lane, please, in the name of the Who and all that is holy, please keep the black ceilings. Please keep the two-way mirrors. Keep everything intact. We're talking about English musical heritage here. This is our history. This is our patrimony. Keep it for the fans, because if you change anything inside, you are no better than ISIS. Come out with us and play. Love your London. Have a banana.